This is my list of the craziest things that could happen to the Red Wings in the remainder of the 2018-19 season. Now, we're talking crazy, so let's start off with the craziest one of all. We make the playoffs. Alright, that feels kind of bad, especially after 25 years of constantly making the playoffs. But it's definitely a low chance considering we're almost in the bottom of the league. But never say never. Next, and this is a possibility. Hear me out. Zadina comes up from the AHL for the 9 games to try out for the team for next season, and he goes on a tear in the NHL. Now, I'm not saying he gets a hat trick in every single one of his games, but maybe he gets around like 6 goals, a couple of assists, something nice. I could see him definitely being like Patrick Laine or even like Alex Ovechkin. Now, yes, he's doing very well. He's not doing great in Grand Rapids. He's 19 and he's playing against men, so it's okay to see him produce a little bit less. But you have to remember that Teemu Pulkkinen, one of our prospects, and he never transferred over that goal-scoring ability to the NHL. So it's not a stretch to say that could be the other way around. Now, that's very unlikely, but this is why it's on the craziest things that could happen in the remainder of the season list. Not what to expect. Going off players going on a tear. I really think that there's a possibility that Larkin could hit 90 points this season. That being said, he is 3 points with 48 points below a point per game average. But he's also just gone through the All-Star break. He hasn't had more than 1 game off since the start of the season. Coming off the All-Star break, I could definitely see him being re-energized and ready to push his team to the limit. As Larkin does, he pushes himself very hard, and I could see him competing for 90 points on the season. 80 points, I could see being reasonable. 90, I'm hopeful, but it's definitely on the crazier side. Also, going with Larkin, I hope Athanasiou and Larkin get hit 30 goals on the season. Now Larkin, it's not that much of a stretch for him to say he can hit 30 goals on a season. Athanasiou, I really hope he does. He's a goal scorer. He is not a defenseman. He is not an assist. He scores goals out of nowhere. That being said, his average is not on pace to hit 30 goals on the season. I hope he does though. I hope he turns it on, and I do think so, factoring in the All-Star break. In December, he took a couple of games off and came back and scored goals. I really hope coming off of the All-Star break, he will be able to do the same thing and turn on his game and score lots of goals for the Red Wings going forward. Going to a more painful idea, the craziest things that I could see, especially heading into the trade deadline, is that we see Nyquist, Howard, and Mike Green all traded. That being said, I'm not saying traded for a cheap 3rd round pick. I'm saying similar to a Tatar's trade last year. Definitely a first, maybe a prospect, maybe a second, and then maybe just a little bit extra just to push it over the edge. On a more hopeful note, especially about the future, I hope, and it might be on the crazier side, that we earn the highest draft pick in this year's draft, earning the right to possibly draft Jack Hughes. Now, this is not exactly a crazy stretch, but even the lowest team in the league only has less, I think an 18.5% chance of earning the highest pick, which is not even 1/5 of the time you'll win. My last thing that I could see happening in the remainder of this season is that Chalowski and Hronek earn 40 or more points between the both of them. That's 20 points per player. That being said, Hronek's in the AHL right now. I know Chalowski alone cannot hit 40 points more on the season. But if they're together, I really hope they can produce that kind of offense. In the junior levels, they don't play as many games as they do in the NHL. So that's why a lot of the junior players, they start off really hot and then they cool down as the season goes on. And that's my list. If you think there's anything else that could possibly happen in the remainder of the season, crazier, or if you think any of these are a possibility, let me know down in the comments and I will be happy to respond and talk to you about it. And until next time, lights out in the red light district.